Hello, this is Matthew, and this is video 1 of my video response to the 2010 film Waiting for Superman. This is for my philosophy education class, and I invite you to leave any comments you have at the bottom of this video, and I will try to cite any sources I use also at the bottom of this video. Thank you. Let's begin. Waiting for Superman serves a purpose of highlighting some of the problems in education. Ideally, this would lead to those who watch it to further research the educational problems facing our country. However, the movie paints the answers to these problems as simple reforms. And if there's one thing I have learned throughout my life, it is whenever the answer to a complex problem seems simple, then I most likely don't know enough about the problem or the potential solutions. And this is the feeling I got watching Waiting for Superman. Sadly, the movie makes the solution sound simple. So instead of encouraging discussion and research, which leads to improved knowledge and action throughout the viewing public, it instead creates a group of people who wave a few facts around they remember from the movie. They think they know the answers, but in fact they do not. I would like to highlight some of the claims made in the film, give my opinion, and encourage you to continue learning on your own. As Waiting for Superman doesn't have the answers, neither do I. I would like to start by defining what a failing teacher is, as the film mentions failing teachers a couple times. Currently, a failing teacher is one whose students don't make annual yearly progress as defined by the No Child Left Behind Act. In this way, we are tying our notions on teachers to a test. While testing is an efficient way to monitor progress, it is not necessarily an accurate one. Current knowledge on how students learn allow for multiple intelligences, and different students are able to do well on different types of evaluations. In many classrooms now, you'll see teachers provide their students choices when it comes to what sorts of projects they can do to demonstrate their abilities. However, when it comes to the government, they still use a single test administered to all students. This is great for students who do well at test taking, but for those who do poorly on tests, it creates a belief that they are inferior to their counterparts. And once a student believes they are stupid, they are more likely to fall behind in school and eventually drop out. It's exactly what we don't want. I believe it was Einstein who famously quoted that everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its whole life believing it is stupid. Additionally, many of the tests don't even accurately assess students on their knowledge. For example, in the letter titled, "Dear Students, sorry about that test I made you take," Valerie Strauss, who is both an educator and someone who helps grade the yearly test to determine student progress, she writes about the writing section, and how students who did not cite information from the prompt failed the question, irregardless of the writing ability they demonstrated, or if the students had additional knowledge not found in the prompt. This type of testing does not take into account the students' actual abilities, or any of their life experiences. Instead, the only thing that was checked was if students cited 2 sources from the prompt, and this was in the personal response section. If this is the sort of testing and evaluations we are giving our students, then how can we define teachers whose students don't do well on them as failing? The definition of a failing teacher used in the film Waiting for Superman, to me, is not a satisfactory definition. The film also decries failing schools, but again, what is a failing school? In addition to not making annual yearly progress on their tests, a failing school can also be defined by dropout rate. This is a more tricky area, though, because it takes into account economic factors as well as educational ones. Again, we have to look at students as a complex person with life experiences. They have a life outside of school. Economic and social pressure does come into play when it comes time to make the decision of whether or not to go to school. Schools in more affluent and educated areas have lower dropout rates. This is not because the students are necessarily smarter, but because they do not face the same pressure as their inner-city counterparts. How then can we judge our schools on their ability to lower dropout rates when much of the power over that rate is not in the school's hands? This is not to say schools have no power, of course they do. But I would argue that strong family or economic background is just as, if not more important. Okay, that is video 1. In the next video, I'll respond to some of the claims about teachers' unions and firing teachers. Again, I invite you to leave any comments at the bottom of this video. Thank you for watching.